been talking about situations where we had constant velocity. And that's allowed us to use equations, graph motion, and all of these types of relationships with describing things when they're not changing. But what about when they are? When velocity is changing, we are accelerating somehow. We have a change indicated by the Greek letter delta. When we look at a change, we want to look at the final velocity and the original velocity, which we would call v and v naught. Well, we always want to subtract the final from the initial, never the other way around. So a change in velocity would be delta v. I have this little caret over it because it is a vector. Well, that's going to be my v final minus my v naught. Or we look at these keywords to and from to help us indicate which velocity is which. So let's kind of take a situation and just study an object. So if I take a ball and I throw it up in the air and it comes back down, you can see that on the way up, the ball is moving with an upward velocity. Well, we've had a coordinate system and we've just defined upward direction to be positive, downward direction to be negative. And so we can say the ball has a positive velocity initially. Well, what's happening to it? On the way up, certainly the velocity is becoming less and less and less, and when it gets to the very top, it stops. So I'm slowing down. So here I have a positive velocity, but I have an acceleration working against me. Gravity is working against me, and so I have a negative acceleration. And so when these sides are acting against each other, you're always going to slow down. But at the top, the ball starts to come back down this way. So I'm moving in a downward direction, that's a negative velocity, and my acceleration is pulling it down this way, so I have a negative acceleration, and therefore the ball gets faster. So we want to be very careful that we don't say that positive acceleration is always speeding up, or negative acceleration is always slowing down. In physics, that's not true. Positive and negative are simply indications of the direction of the acceleration because acceleration is a vector.